Hey sweet friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a good year so far. I'm excited to share some budget-friendly Dollar Tree DIYs perfect to try for 2025. Please hit that thumbs up button and let's jump on into it. Whenever I think about using Mod Podge, the first thing I go to is tissue paper, just because like decoupaging like napkins or tissue paper onto projects is super common and popular. A lot of people love to do that. So this is no different. I love this little plant print. I think it's absolutely gorgeous with all of these leaves on there. It looks very like boho, but very kind of neutral, and you could go with any style. So for this, I'm using two different sizes of these little hurricane lantern candle holders from the Dollar Tree, and I cut one down to size, and then for the taller one I wanted it to be about an inch taller, so I do go ahead and lay that down and make sure that it's a little bit bigger, and then using my Mod Podge just to adhere this directly to the candle holder. Now for this project, I actually want to pair it with some of Dollar Tree's floating candles. Believe it or not, I don't think I've ever used floating candles in any of my Dollar Tree DIYs before, so excited to get to use those. I didn't even worry about the wrinkles on this jar. I just go ahead and do a layer of Mod Podge over the top of it, and then just to give this a little bit more of a finished look, I do use a little bit of the burlap ribbon to go around the top, and I just feel like it really kind of divides up the glass and the little decoupage piece and just makes it look better as a whole. Next up, I wanted to make a hanger, so I'm using the back side of one of these MDF Valentine circular signs, and this looks really good. I'm doing kind of the same concept. I'm using that same green vine tissue paper to attach the top and the bottom, but first I want to go ahead and get a nice blank coat on this so I can start from scratch. I let my white chalk paint dry completely and then add some Mod Podge to the top. You can measure this out if you're worried about it being 100% straight, but I knew this was just kind of going to be a backing, so I just eyeballed it. After I applied the tissue paper, I do brush over it with some Mod Podge and kind of soak the edges so that I can easily rub the excess away. I had this large wooden gather sign. It had an arrow attached to it, so I go ahead and cut it away, but I feel like it was the perfect color. It really shows up against the white and light green colors. And then I'm going to attach a hanger with some beads as well as a bow. I'm using some Dollar Tree ribbon. This came out of the plus section. It is a little bit more pricey, but I feel like it looks so much better than just the $1.25 tiny little ribbon. I like the little gold trimming on this, but you could skip that if you don't like it. I thought a little single bow kind of got lost on this and it was too small, so I tried to double it up, cut the little tails at an angle, glue down my gather sign, and I just absolutely love this pop of wood color off of the light pastel colors. Just think it's a really fun piece, perfect for spring. You could definitely dress this up for Easter, but just think it's a fun piece to kind of mix up all the square and rectangle signs that I make. Okay, this is the first item that I want to share with you how I did a quick upgrade. I think these are gorgeous as is. When I originally saw them, I thought they were little mirrors, but they turned out just to be chalkboards. But these are a little bit of a yellow gold. You can easily take a little bit of paint on your brush and distress these if you want to tone that down any. I thought it was perfect. I wanted to actually put this on a stand instead of the little photo stand that come on the back, just to give it more of an elegant, higher end look. I didn't want to use a gold candlestick because I felt like the two golds would not match, and I didn't want to take the time to even paint them because this is already painted really nicely. So I just took a pair of pliers and kind of wiggled off the little top piece of this candlestick, glued it onto the chalkboard, and this is done in just literally 30 seconds. I made a cute little design on there with a chalk marker, but love this. So I know candle holders are not a new thing. They have them out all the time, but these just looked extra unique to me. They have the little hole at the top so that you can use actual tape or candles in these, and I found these really fun twisted ones at Dollar Tree. I did take these outside and spray them with black matte spray paint. I don't want that shiny chrome look right now in my house, so I just painted them. I was going to use some fun beads and really dress these up, but I just set these wooden circles on there from Dollar Tree, and I loved how these looked. It was so simple to do, 5 minutes or less. I had these put together, but I think they're adorable. I hot glued the candles down in place, or you can melt the bottom just a little bit just to hold these, and so they'll stand up nice and straight, but loved how they look together. I also mentioned in that recent haul that I love these wash and dry decals from Dollar Tree, but they wouldn't really work on my washer because the washer door is like indented, so it wasn't like the perfect circle to apply these to, but I knew I could make a really cute sign for like a laundry room area. So I am using one of these long Dollar Tree signs, and I'm just turning it around backwards, or you can completely sand off the front of this so you don't have an ugly backing, or cover the backing with some brown paper. I do that a lot of times, but I go ahead and remove the hanger and the staples, give this a nice coat of white chalk paint. I intentionally left it a little bit distressed and go over it with some sandpaper after it dried, and then apply my stickers on there. I never can get stickers straight, like applied to this instantly perfect, but it's fine. I didn't even worry about it becoming not tacky because I'm going to use my Mod Podge to add a layer over this just to protect it so I can easily wipe it down and dust it whenever I want to. I took the little vines that come on the back of this decal set and just kind of cut them up and applied them around the edges. I wanted the little and symbol in between them. I couldn't find a sticker that I had. That's what I thought I was going to be able to use, but I ended up just printing this off and going ahead and just scribbling on the back so that I can easily flip it over, trace around it. I'll have that little pencil marking left on my board, and then I actually found a chrome or silver colored paint marker in my crafting stash, so I go ahead and add that on there or fill that in, and it matched perfectly. Now just adding on my Mod Podge, I end up doing a super thick coat. I just want this to really stay in place. I don't want any of these stickers peeling up, but it's going to protect it and make it last a lot longer. I let this completely dry until it's clear, and then it's already ready to go. I do take a piece of sandpaper and kind of pull the stickers over the edges, and this will let them tear away really easy, but this is how it turned out. I think it is the cutest thing ever and can't wait to hang this up. I found this on Pottery Barn's website. It is in gold, and I decided to go ahead and make mine in black, but it is this nice tray holding little pebbles with these gorgeous candles on there, and I knew we could easily make this over. So Dollar Tree does sell plastic trays that you could easily spray paint and get the same effect, but I wanted this to be on a larger scale. Just like the picture, this one was ringing in at like $159, so I knew it was probably like really big and higher quality, so I wanted to use real wood instead of going with the plastic. So for this, I took 2 of the Dollar Tree wooden planks, put them together with some popsicle sticks, and then to get the sides on there, the little edging, I decided to go with tower blocks, glue them all the way around so that it will kind of case in the pebbles. I took this outside and spray painted it with some flat black spray paint, let it completely dry, and then using the large metal candlesticks or candle holders to get like the metal post look. These candlestick holders have like a hollowed base, so it's not a solid base. There's not a lot to hold to the wood. So I do go ahead and just put a couple of dots on the top, just so it has a little bit more of surface area. This is going to be hidden by the rocks, but you don't have to do that if you're worried about it showing. But I just love how chic it looks with keeping like the black tones in there. And then I picked up 5 of these glass candle holders, and I feel like they made it look so beautiful. I even considered putting a little bit of sand down the bottom, but I wanted to keep this really nice and easy to clean. I go ahead and fill this up with some votive candles, but how pretty is this? I cannot wait to style it on the dining room table. Such a fun, gorgeous piece, very budget friendly, and nowhere near that expensive price point that you're seeing on the Pottery Barn website. I found these on Kirklands.com, and it's these little like white birds on a stand. I was so excited because I had recently picked up a ton of these glass birds from the Dollar Tree, so I knew it would be the perfect thing to recreate these. These would go perfect with like a coastal look, or just every day, like if you're like me and you bring in birds for springtime or summertime in your home. But using those same metal candle holders, I am just gluing this to the top, adding a couple extra dots where you can't see the glue. I like to go ahead and let the glue cool off a tiny bit and then kind of push it down so it takes the shape of the bird, and then let these cool down so that I make sure they're nice and attached. I spray them with white flat spray paint, and then one of the best things ever is the stone spray paint. It's really expensive, I barely use it, but I just spritz it on the birds and then go back over it with the white. I'm getting the texture, but they're kind of keeping that mostly white finish. I might spritz it a tiny bit more with a little bit of the gray stone, but love how these looked. So cute to style this with some artificial greenery. The next project, I picked up a Dollar Tree canvas. You can pick up any that you like the best. I thought this one was really cool. It was a fun color, had this little like abstract rainbow art on there, and I just thought it was really fun. But it's muted enough that I can really decorate the front, and it's not going to take away from it. It's not going to look too busy. So for this, I needed a stand. So I'm just taking a piece of Dollar Tree wood and painting it with some mineral color chalk paint, and then glue my canvas in the center of this. I am going to glue it towards the back, so I do have a little ledge in the front to glue some wooden beads. Now I like to pick up my wooden beads on a strand at Hobby Lobby. Usually during the seasonal months they put these on sale and you can get them for $4 or $5. Or you can use the smaller Dollar Tree beads, but I do like these bigger ones because I'm going to be putting some little greenery pieces in here, and these are just large enough to help hold them up. I do add just a touch of hot glue to the bottom of the stem because I don't want these falling out and having to pick them back up, but these are going to act as little holders for all of this greenery. Now you could mix this up and put a ton of different florals in here, really add some tops of flowers and make it more colorful, but for me, I just wanted to keep it these muted tones and just thought it was so fun. I did try to play around with the like how tall or short they are so that it did mix it up a little bit, and then added a couple more in the back so it was a little bit taller on the edges. I had a gap there that needed filled in, but this looks really cool. Like I mentioned, a perfect way to take any of your favorite canvases, dress it up so you don't have to hang this small on the wall, but it would fill up like a shelf or entryway table and just fill up a larger space this way. I wanted to go with the largest canvas that I could find, and all I could really find are these large flat ones that are 11 by 14 inches. They are a really great size to craft with, make the perfect wall art. So for this I had a really fun idea. I actually love it so much that I put it in the first 2 projects, but for this one I'm taking this large canvas and I'm covering the edges with painter's tape. So I'm making like a border, and then I'm going to take spray paint, go ahead and fill in the center, and then the real magic here is removing the painter's tape and just barely spritzing the edges so it gives it a really cool effect. So I go ahead and tape off a couple of them, take it outside, really put a nice generous amount in the center, making sure that you do press the painter's tape down in the middle. You can see that it tried to pop up there so that it's not leaking out onto the edges. And then while it's still wet, I like to go ahead so I don't have to wait on dry time, go ahead and remove that painter's tape, and then like I mentioned, lightly spritzing it over the top so it just falls down in a little pretty drizzle. It makes it absolutely gorgeous. I love this. I love this so much that I did do it in the next project as well, even the same color. I just kept doing it, so I was addicted to it, but I want to try this in more colors. I think it is just the cutest thing, adds so much detail without putting in a ton of effort. And then to dress this up to look like real home decor, I was blown away with finding these huge wooden branch pieces. They're like 3D laser cut wood pieces at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. I go ahead and remove the tags. It has this little hole at the top that you could fill in, but I didn't even want to mess it up with wood filler. I just attached these with some hot glue. Literally a project that I put together in like less than 15 minutes, and the cutest thing, you could take the time to make a border for these. I'm gonna leave them plain and just make them simple, but a fun way to make over these plain Jane canvases into something that you could actually use. And then here's the second canvas that I want to make, doing the same thing, spritzing the middle or really filling in the center, and then just spritzing the edges with the little like overspray look effect. So I really like how this turned out. Now I'm going to do something here that I know a lot of people will not love, but it's just something kind of trendy and really pretty and kind of popular out right now. I'm seeing a lot on Pinterest signs that, like, I'm even seeing this on, like, people are putting this on the walls, but I'm seeing signs where you use the same color letter as the backing. Now, first up, I had this little pack of wooden or their MDF letters from Hobby Lobby, and you can see that I really struggled to find something to say on here because you only got like one letter of the most popular letters. So I'm not really sure. I only had one Y, so I couldn't write what I originally wanted to, and then I was going to put cherish, and there wasn't another H. So I decided to go with let's stay home. I played with it for quite a while, figuring out something where I didn't have to repeat the letters. And then I'm sticking this little wooden tulip on there from Dollar Tree. I go ahead and arrange them and glue them down as straight as I could. I did not get them perfect. I didn't even worry about it. But the fun thing here is that I'm going to take this back outside and spray paint over the letters and the flower so that everything is one color. Like I say, I don't expect everyone to love this. It's just something that's kind of been trendy, and I think it gives it a really cool effect. I'm going to keep playing around with it and seeing if I can find this or try to make something in different versions to where I love it. But it is something really neat and just something different, so definitely give it a try. You could do this with so many different like 3D wood pieces just to give them new life, especially if you're like shopping at the thrift store. It would be easy to find like something like shallow and wooden that you could easily attach to a sign and spray over it. But I just thought this was really cute. I did end up adding a little bow to the flower stem just to give it a little pop of something, and it didn't look plain Jane. But let me know in the comments down below, is this something that you would try, or you think that you need to paint those letters a different color? Okay, so first off, for the first book hack, I'm actually going to be building a little plant stand or little display case for some of the most adorable little plants I found at Dollar Tree. Now, if you can't find these $1.25 MDF books that I'm going to be using as crates, then you can just use the normal crates, so just a little bit smaller, and you can like face the outside decor onto the inside, so you're not going to be able to tell, and you can cover all sides with the book paper if you want to. But for these, I have these large MDF books that I took off all of the decor or the little beads and ribbon on the outside. Go ahead and glue 3 of them together. This is going to make the top piece. I go ahead and repeat this exact same step and then glue both sections together, so I have 6 pieces. It's going to be able to house 6 mini little plants and going to look really adorable. I go ahead and attach these 2 together and then give this a coat of black spray paint. After I got all of these attached, I really wanted to be able to trace a book, so I had a nice template. So luckily I had an extra one. I go ahead and just trace that on a piece of old book paper. If you didn't want to destroy any books, you can just print out like any kind of script paper, or Hobby Lobby has scrapbooking paper that looks like it's from books or a little script on it. Some of them look really fun. You could use any paper that you like here, but this is a really cool idea. I love the look of using just like text in the backing. Now I did kind of like watch what it said, but nobody is ever going to pay attention to what it says. But I go ahead and just attach these down with some glue sticks. Make sure it's nice and secure in the back. If you want to, you could do a layer of Mod Podge. I'm going to leave it as is so it's not super shiny and you won't see any brush strokes. But these are my favorite little plants that Dollar Tree has out right now. They are in this gorgeous little concrete planter. I go ahead and just set them in there, putting the taller ones in the middle, and this is just the most fun way to display them. You could even trade these out for real succulents and just kind of have like a little indoor garden. Okay, so I found this frame in the Dollar Tree. It holds 3 4x6 photos, but we are going to dress this up with some of our book pages. So I start by removing the backing and go ahead and just use the mat. Now you could take the mat out and paint it a different color if that's what you like. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is, but putting the book pages on both sides. I love making over picture frames. I just feel like it turns it into more decorative art than just putting 3 photos in here and making it super busy. I just use hot glue to attach these to the front, and then I have this thankful sticker that I found at Dollar Tree. It has these little greenery pieces in, but you could use any sticker or rub-on transfer. I'm applying these to the edges, and then I really like the look of the book pages, so I decided to go ahead and add that to the center before adding in my photo. I changed my picture into black and white just so it had more of like a decorative look and it wasn't like super, the girls had on like Easter colors, so I didn't want it to be like super bright and not match the aesthetic of the frame. So I go ahead and put that in the middle, push the little tongs down in the back, and just display this. I think it is really cute. This would make a great gift idea, but really fun to put together. Another fun way to use fabric is to actually frame it in unique different frames. So instead of just grabbing a rectangular frame, look for fun unique pieces. I know Dollar Tree has out all of these arched photo frames right now. I also found a mirror one and I actually end up styling these together, but you also could take the mirror out if that's the only one you could find. But for this one, I go ahead and remove the backing. Now, fabric that you iron is best if you go ahead and pre-wash it, but for video purposes, I usually like to make things as quick as I can, and I don't always have time to run down and do a load of laundry first, so I end up trying to iron them, but sometimes those harsh iron lines do want to come back, so I try to make sure I iron this as good as I can, but always pre-wash it if you have the time, or if you can take the time to do that. But I thought this tan little spotted fabric was gorgeous. I styled it in this arch frame and then put it with this other mirror, and I think it's really high-end looking and looks really gorgeous, and you could put the perfect pop of fabric color, your favorite fabric, in these frames. When it comes to needing to make your own wall art, these $3 Dollar Tree signs, they're in the plus section, are the perfect thing to grab. I've made these over a million times. I recently wanted to make like a reading nook, honestly, like in my bedroom as well as in my office, just a cozy place to sit and read or fill out my planner. I purchased a new white bookshelf that I want to get set up, just doing a few new fun things in the new house. But I wanted to create some fun little artwork to kind of set around it, whether that's on the bookshelf or maybe on a little side table. So I thought this was really fun. I go ahead and paint the black edging. I'm using this sign backwards, or it's backwards to the side that had the tag on it, just because whenever you flip it around, it looks like it has a frame this way. So I paint the frame black, And then going in with some old scrappy book pages. This is just a Dollar Tree book that I always keep going back to get new pages out of. And honestly, I've made so many things out of this book, but I'm trying to overlap them so they kind of look like they're scattered. I'll give these a couple seconds to dry without letting them dry too much because I want to be able to cut away all the excess pages that are folded up and make this look flat. And then I'll go in and touch up any of the excess like ripped pages or any of the excess glue on the frame. I'll go ahead and touch that up with some black paint. So I knew I wanted to keep the book theme with the book background, so I just typed in book quote on my Cricut design space, and I thought this one was really cute. It says a book a day keeps reality away, and I just loved it so much with the little stack of books on the edges and the little flowers coming up. I love the nice thick, bold black print that's going to coordinate nice with the frame. So go ahead and weed this and then stick it to the book pages. Now, I personally think I'll go back in with a layer of Mod Podge a little bit later just to make sure that I can just wipe this down and nothing's ever going to peel up. I feel like sometimes whenever you apply the vinyl to paper, it wants to pull away after a little bit, but I go ahead and secure this on there, and it is so gorgeous. I feel like you could definitely make this and sell it for quite a bit more than just the $3 sign that you've invested in it minus the vinyl. And I just feel like it's something really cute, like I mentioned, to just cozy up a little reading nook to decorate with. I love how it's kind of neutral, but it just all coordinates really nice together. So love how this turned out, really, really cute, and I'll definitely be making some more. I purchase succulents from the Dollar Tree all the time, but never once have I found them in such awesome little containers. These are like real concrete like planters, and I just love them so much. So they had several different styles and colors that you could choose from, but they all pretty much had this similar concrete planter. Now, I have seen the plastic ones before that I've painted and DIY'd with, but these are just so nice and high-end. I had so many fun ideas that I wanted to share with you all. So for the first one, I am pulling all the succulents out. Go ahead and removing the styrofoam, pulling off the labels, and then just for a simple 2-second DIY, I am gluing 2 of these pots together, one upside down, keeping the same little succulent at the top, and this is just going to create a little bit more of a height on one of them, and it's going to make all the difference. Before I share with you what they look like, I wanted to create a little riser for them. So using one of these long wall shelves, just because I love the finish of it, I decided to go ahead and cut away the strings and the hardware, and then start to cover these holes just with some scrap wood that I had. So for this, I am using the concrete planters as actual feet or the riser part of the stand. I glued them on both sides. You could add one to the middle if you wanted to. And then, like I mentioned, covering the edges. When I said scrap wood, I just meant like a scrap wood piece that I had, a Dollar Tree item. So I just easily broke them apart and then used my miter shears to cut a piece that was the perfect length to cover the holes on both sides. And this just looks like a really nice riser. So many things you could do with this or put on here, but I think it looks really good holding the plants. And I love the look of how the wood looks with the concrete. I feel like it's very modern and transitional, but looks really good with that pop of green right on top. Okay, so I had a really fun idea whenever I was holding these candlesticks. I kind of stared at them a few minutes and was thinking about what I could do with them. And I thought it'd be really cool to turn these into like a rustic wooden spool. Now, I thought they already kind of had the shape of them, but I wanted larger tops like you actually see, like the vintage wooden spools. And sometimes like Walmart puts these out at Christmas time with like ribbon on them, some small ones. So I thought it'd be fun to make some larger ones. They always have the hole in them to be real spools. So I did take my drill and just drill a hole in the center as much as possible. And then I go ahead and attach these with some hot glue. Some of the hot glue did try to seep through the little hole, but I went ahead and just cleaned that out. Now I did glue these to the candle holders upside down, so all of the beveled, like routed out parts are underneath, and this is going to have the smooth flat top. And then I go ahead, remove the label, and attach it to the bottom as well. For this set, I ended up making like a neutral rustic set that I could put out in like my living area, but I'm gonna get a new craft room at my new house. I think it would be so fun to make like 8 or 9, 10 of these and put them all in different colors and put some fun ribbon on there. So this is definitely a project that I'll even try to make later on. But to go ahead and give these just a neutral real wood look, I go ahead and use some of my favorite truffle brown chalk paint, give this a nice thick coat, and then I'm going to let this completely dry and then start to sand this down. And this is what's going to give it more of a rustic look. Now, you aren't able to really sand the candlestick holder itself in the center, but nobody's going to see that. You're going to be covering that up with some ribbon, but this is where it gets really fun. You can pick which ribbon that you like. Once again, I'm just keeping this neutral. I love how it looks with this brown color that looks like real wood, and then especially after I got it sanded and some of the raw wood like come through the edges, it just had such a gorgeous finish to it. And then wrapping around some burlap, I stuck a real needle in there to hold it down in place, and I just think it's really cute. But definitely something that I want to make again, make more colorful, so you could definitely just paint this in different colors to fit more into your style. Thank you all so much for checking out today's video. Be sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. You don't want to miss out on the next upcoming videos. Tons of new content coming your way.